Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg, and guess what? I have that iconic German sports car for you, and this one is a special one. It's a 2023 Porsche 911 Carrera T. But before we get into one of the lightest modern day 911s ever produced, let's talk about what's going on here. Dialing 911 on your phone will get you the fire department or an ambulance or the police, but when you dial 911 when you want a sports car, it gets you the mighty Porsche Carrera. Now what's interesting is that your base model is the Carrera. That's where it starts. And then you go through different trims to get what is unique and special for you. Now what's fascinating is that the Carrera T has been around, that name has been around for many, many years. And what it always represented is that vehicle that was made basically to go racing. And to go racing, not only do you normally want horsepower, you also want lightweight. So guess what? Out of the 911 Carreras, this is the lightest. Now, when you go base 911 Carrera, you have to go with an 8-speed PDK. No manual transmission available. If you jump up to the Carrera S, then you could get a manual transmission. What the Carrera T does, it takes the Carrera and that base engine, and now you could get a manual transmission or an 8-speed PDK, but then it takes out a lot of weight to really lighten things up. But what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a German performance car, there's another brand out there, BMW. They have a car known as the M4. So should you go M4, and I'm not talking about an M4 competition, we're talking about a regular M4 with a manual transmission, or should you be going with this Carrera T, which guess what, has the manual transmission option? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Carrera T and find out. Right off the bat, the color. It's known as Carrera White, and that makes sense. White is one of those iconic colors on a Porsche. The other one has definitely got to be GT Silver. And then of course we can't forget Guards Red. But on this Carrera White Carrera T, you can see that familiar style. So you're gonna get nice oval shaped headlight design. Used to be round, now it's oval, still looking good. Full LED daytime running lamps and LED projector beam headlights. I like the way it's got the black trim ring all the way around. Working your way down, we have more LED lighting, including your turn signals. And then you'll notice that we have flat black corner air intakes for the massive heat exchangers that are behind there. Because just like the Carrera, just like the Carrera S and the Carrera GTS, this is a twin turbocharged flat 6 setup. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the back end of this vehicle. Now, as I come across the front, you'll notice that familiar shape, familiar design, but of course, with the modern style. The one area I have to zonk, which it blows my mind that they did this, fake vent in the center. But I do like the way you have that lower flat black splitter, and the Carrera T comes optioned with PASM. That's Porsche's active suspension management system. So it actually sits a little bit lower than a standard Carrera, and the Carrera T is gonna have that adaptive suspension to make it handle like a dream. Now, as we rise up, of course, you're gonna have that usable trunk space underneath the front mounted trunk lid here. You have your Porsche crest, all that history from Stuttgart, Germany. And then you just have simple, subtle, clean design. And that's one thing I've always admired about Porsche, is how they keep a nice, clean design. Comparing that to the M4, we all know that the M4 has those big, huge beaver teeth, sort of like a pig snout of a front grille area. I prefer this a lot more. Let me know what you prefer down in the comment section. Now, as we come around the bend, you are gonna get the base Carrera wheels. Multi-spoke wheel design, but you'll notice on the Carrera T, we have the dark gunmetal metallic gray finish. Love the way that they did the crest to kind of blend in nicely with the rest of the wheel. Massive flat black 6-piston calipers with the Porsche script. And then you'll notice that we have cross-drilled rotors that are gonna help save weight. So save weight, increase braking capability, because that's gonna cut down on heat that builds up from the brakes. We have, of course, like I said, the PASM suspension. And let me know how you feel about the wheel. I actually think the white with the gunmetal gray really fits perfectly. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of these tires? You're basically looking at 245 on the width, 35 series sidewall, and that's a 20-inch wheel. Now, as we come down the rest of the vehicle, you're gonna get your 911 Carrera T side stripe. Very tasteful, lets you know that you have something a little special. Like I said, these just came out for model year 2023 again for the 992 chassis, because that's what the current chassis is, 992. So this is new for model year 2023, bringing the Carrera T name back on the new chassis. You'll notice that we have matching gunmetal metallic gray mirror caps to match the wheels. I like that combo deal. This one is optioned with a sunroof. Not my particular thing, but the problem is it adds some weight. So we're trying to make this the lightest Carrera, but then whoever optioned this put in a sunroof. I do like the way the whole roof is black. That makes it pop nicely, especially with our black side stripe. But let me know how you feel about the sunroof if you're happy about that. On the 992 chassis, you do have flush mounted door handles. And of course, that nice flared fender that comes into our rear tires. Now, our rear tires are 305s. So you have a nice wider tire, and these wheels, 21-inch wheels. So you have 20-inch wheel up front, 21-inch wheel out back, and the same nice Brembo calipers with the cross-drilled rotors. As we rise up and we swing it around back, you're gonna have your active spoiler that raises and lowers at speed. I like the way they put the third brake light here in the center with those, if you notice, gunmetal gray finish on each of those vertical slots there. And then at the back, same thing, gunmetal gray on the Porsche name. We got our LED lighting and 911 Carrera T. Working our way down, you do get the sport exhaust when you go Carrera T. So it's oval opening, functional tip that are gloss black on both sides. That lets you know that this is a Carrera T. Standard Carrera exhaust is more like a box, like a rectangle, like a vacuum cleaner. But these have the oval cut, and I do like the flat black. You have a mechanical locking limited slip diff out back, and of course, this is rear-wheel drive. You can get Carreras all-wheel drive. Carrera T is always going to be rear-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the engine hatch here and see if we can see anything underneath it. All right, guys, unfortunately on modern day 911s, because it is a true rear engine car, because the engine is past the rear axle, no longer can you really see the engine. What you get to see are the two cooling fans and of course that 3-liter badge, because underneath all this, we have a 3-liter flat 6 twin turbocharged engine. Now they're small turbos, so this is not a 911 turbo. This is a Carrera T. So what do we have? Base engine output, 379 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 7-speed manual transmission, that is standard, or you can option in an 8-speed dual clutch, the PDK. The car weighs 3,291 pounds. 0 to 60, if you know how to do the dance, in about 3.9 seconds. Quarter mile goes by at 12.1 at 118 miles per hour. And top speed is right around 181 miles per hour. MPGs, 17 in the city, 25 on the highway. Now, when you're comparing this to the BMW M4, that straight 6 twin turbocharged engine puts out well over 450 horsepower, but remember the M4 weighs more than this vehicle. So something to think about. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up. We got the sport exhaust on a Carrera T. Let's fire it up and hear what kind of sound it makes. Hi guys, we are inside this Carrera T 2023 911. Remember, this is the 992 chassis. This chassis has been around since basically model year 2020. Right before the pandemic hit is when these cars became available. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want something that is a daily driver. I'm getting all these notifications. All these people keep bothering me all day. It's like I can't take it. Spam, scams, and everything in between. But I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, I need something as a daily driver that's got some usable space, both storage and on the interior. I've been thinking about an M4, but I'm like you, Joe. It just doesn't make my heart pitter patter. It's not a car that when I walk away from it, I want to turn around and look at it. I actually want to just keep running away from it. But I do like this 911 Carrera T. I've always liked the classic 911 shape. How much is this? Very good question. You're looking at a price of $129,000. The way that this one is optioned, let's see what you get. To the door panels. Clean style. Soft touch material up top. You got a little bit of gloss black, not much, just to kind of spruce things up, and then everything else is flat black. The good news is you got two large pockets. The middle one there is for 5 Twinkies, your track day Twinkies, and then up front you could take a couple bags of Twizzlers and slide them in there, no problem. Now going from the door panel to the dash, same soft touch material, same gloss black trim. You do have a hidden cup holder, but there's no way in hell you're drinking in my Carrera T. And then you slide on in, not only do you get the 10.9-inch infotainment system, you also get the chrono, the sport chrono package with the chronograph clock up top and the timer. But going back to the 10.9-inch infotainment system, all the things you need: navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. I always like hitting the little Porsche 911 symbol. That's going to allow you to bring up your car. And then what's nice is when you go into the different modes, you see how it highlights everything? I really like the way it does that very easily. And you could change the modes here, or you could do it on the steering wheel, which I'll show you a little bit. Now coming down, you have these nice metal toggle switches. You could activate your sport suspension, activate the sport exhaust. We got toggle switches for our dual climate control. I'm not a big fan of the gloss black around the shifter. You can see all the dust, but I do love the shifter. Nice short throws. This isn't the same transmission in the GT3, but it's pretty darn close. 7-speed manual. Love that crisp engagement. Nice leather shift boot. It's got the 911 name in gray down there. You have your controls for your sunroof. Heated seats, no ventilated seats on this one. They did option in the Carrera white key fob, which is kind of cute. Matches the color of your car. You got a cup holder here. Leather on the armrest. Open it up. You could put your iPhone 27 diamond crusted and 2 USB-Cs. And then the seats are standard 4-way adjustable. So you have your leather. The 911 embroidery is specific to the Carrera T. Cloth in the center. Nice bolstering. Some electric assist on the side, but the rest is going to be manual. And this car does have the same plexiglass as a GT3 out back and on the sides here. And then it also, I don't know if Steven could show you, it's a rear seat delete. So I like the way that, hey, they're too small anyways. No seats, no seat belts, and that cuts a lot of weight just by doing that. But then, like I said, this one is optioned, unfortunately, with the sunroof, which it does have a nice power shade. I do like that. Little on the slow side, but that's all right. But why don't you come over here to the wheel? It's actually plucked right out of the GT3. Come on over, I want to show you. All right, guys, behind the wheel, the business time. Love the way it's got that nice aluminum sill plate with 911 Carrera T. Pedal box is right out of a freaking race car. Nice dead pedal, aluminum clutch, brake, and throttle. You could do your own heel toe downshifting, or it has the automatic blip. You still have your ignition start left of the steering wheel that goes all the way back to the Le Mans racing days. And then sitting here, these seats, they may not be the sexiest, but boy, oh boy, do they hold you nicely. And I kind of like the cloth leather combo. Lots of headroom, even with the sunroof, and then the steering wheel, like I said, right out of a GT3. Love the way it's got your drive mode selector knob right here. The spokes are hollowed out, that iconic Porsche crest, manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then I love the way they do the digital with the analog tachometer, smack dab in the center. Red line is 7,500 RPM, and you got all that other information there. You do have a frunk. You can put about 2 carry-on suitcases up there. I'm not gonna show it to you because I don't care about it. What I care about, let's go on throttle in this 911T. All right, guys, we are in this Porsche 911 Carrera T. I say it every time I get into a Porsche. When you get in one, especially the 911, it just makes sense why this car has evolved the way it has since 1963. Everything is laid out in here perfectly, and with less sound deadening material, not only does it give you a lighter car, but you get to hear more of the goodness. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Second gear, on throttle, yeah! Nice. The way that this car handles, the way that this car makes you feel, it is the true epitome of what a sports car is. And what I love about it is nothing is getting pumped in through speakers. There's no simulated experience. It's all the real deal, Holyfield, type of driving in here. Unlike the BMW M4, which has a ton of piped in sound through the speakers. You ready? Second gear. On throttle. God, I love the sound of that flat 6. And this 7-speed gearbox, it's not as good as the GT3, but it's pretty darn good. And the fact that they offer this with a manual is phenomenal, especially the fact that it's standard with a manual. You have to option in the 8-speed PDK, shows the true intentions of this car being a driver's car. And if you're want to know what does the transmission feel like, the gearbox, compared to the BMW M4, the M4, it feels very rubbery. This is much more solid, much more crisp. You ready? Second gear, here we go. On those brakes. Look at this, look at this. Yeah! The experience in this car is really what it's all about. Hearing the sound, being able to feel the amount of grip that you have from the tires, through the steering wheel, through the seat, through the chassis. It gives you this sense of confidence in being one with the car that not many vehicles today are able to give you. The clutch actuation is very, very good. It's not a heavy clutch. It's got a good pickup point to it. And the fact that you could shut off the auto blip very easily and do your own heel-toe downshifting, like I said, just allows you to be more connected with the car. But if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice. On the brakes. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah! God. No other manufacturer has won the coveted 24 Hours of Le Mans more than Porsche. It all comes through in this car. And the fact that this isn't some $250,000 GT3 or a 911 Turbo S, the fact that it is second from the bottom when it comes to different trims for the 911 shows what Porsche is able to do to where it's not gonna break the bank. Is it more expensive than an M4? Yes. But M4s now are like $90,000. And to me, that sounds more crazy than the price of this vehicle. Because you're in a Porsche. There is no substitute. Here we go, on throttle. Nice. So smooth. It's like taking candy from a baby, the way this thing handles, the way it communicates. The brakes feel great. That suspension is just really allowing me to be connected with the road. And this 7-speed. Nice. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. This car makes me have tears of joy that want to just come out of my eyes right now. That's the kind of experience that I'm having. It puts you on another level where everything just makes sense. Everything just happens. You're not having to think about it. And that's what I love about this car. I'm not scared. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose control. I feel one with the car, and that allows you to just get through it and do the business. The sound, especially when you get those pops and bangs, and it's a deliberate thing. It's not like somebody went and got a pop and bang tune and that's the sound that's coming out. No, that's the way this whole thing has been put together for you to experience it without it being fake. And yes, when you have it in the sportier setting on PASM, the suspension is a little on the more harsh side, but all you gotta do is hit the button and take it out of sport. And that's gonna soften up the suspension to make it a little bit more of a daily driver friendly type setup. That's what's great. Seeing the gauges, everything laid out. You know, the steering wheel does block the clock and the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge, but who cares? I have all the other information perfectly where I want it, especially the tachometer. That's the most important part of this equation. But like I said, just clutch action, really, really nice. The seats, even though they're not 32-way adjustable seats, they hold you in super well and they're comfortable. That's another thing, especially for daily driving. But you're definitely gonna notice the sound difference being inside this compared to a Carrera because of the less sound deadening material and the fact that you got the Sport Chrono package. And I'm gonna go back to it again, a 7-speed manual transmission. But we gotta do it one more time because I could do this all day long, but I can't. But if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going to do this one more time together. I'm gonna come to a complete stop. We're gonna take some deep breaths. Do it with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth. On throttle! Woo, chirping second. On those brakes. This car, I love it. This is what it's all about. You want an EV? Don't even talk to me. Don't even talk to me right now if you are wanting an EV. And if you say Cybertruck, I'm gonna kick you in the nuts. But I gotta do it. I gotta pull the pin, and we gotta get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed sharing it with you. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, you know what 911T stands for? The T stands for throttle application. And boy, oh boy, what an on-throttle drive in this manual transmission equipped 911T. We definitely got to thank Miro and the rest of the crew getting us access to this baby. Let me know what you think. Are you going to go Carrera T lightest 911 Carrera that you can get, or are you gonna go BMW M4? How do you want your performance? Let me know down in that comment section, but if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Of course, we need to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. He's wearing his special fleece jacket to help keep his body warm and his heart nice and bright so that he can provide the best videography skills of anybody on the planet. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.